All kinds of humor appealed to him, and he thrived on it. Sometimes it's necessary to stop and cry. And I don't know if Satish did it even to himself, because she was with him every step of the way. I have not seen a partnership like that. Satish and Madhu, I mean, they were two peas in a pod. The only time I've seen Satish, shaken, shattered, was when Madhu fell ill once, long ago, and she needed blood transfusions. I don't see why he should have been slotted into this comic world. It was a pity that none of the directors of that time had the eyes to see what this man was capable of. They were as blind as the commercial guys that they dissed all the time and they criticized all the time. But they also created their own little star system and just wore blinders and went only for that. Sarabhai versus Sarabhai was 2005. We are in 2025. Hello? Nothing else? Nobody else can come up with something like Sarabhai? Come on. 1.4 billion we keep talking about. Why is there no other Sarabhai? And I never realized how much of a family we were until the day he left us. Really. I mean, one has seen many friends go. He's not the first. But something happened to all of us. And something was shaken and changed inside. And she will find her way to Satish through music and dance.
Mumbai is the city of dreams, they say. This city, the showbiz capital of India, lost a comic genius recently. Satish Shah, famously known for his impeccable role as Indravardhan Sarabhai in the 2004 sitcom Sarabhai VS Sarabhai, passed away due to cardiac arrest on October 25th. The videos of his condolence meeting left a lasting impression on everyone's mind, where his on screen Sarabhai family came together to celebrate his life, sing his favorite songs. Today, renowned actor Ratna Pathak Shah, who played his on screen wife Maya Sarabhai, speaks to us about why there could not have been any other way to bid farewell to a man who was always seen laughing and sending jokes, the man behind the epic comic roles, the loss of Indian cinema that it did not see his acting genius beyond stereotypical comical roles. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's Pulse Maharashtra with me, Vinaya Deshpande. I'm the Maharashtra Chief of Bureau of the Hindu, and each week we take you through some of the most important topics from Maharashtra. Now, this week we are going to talk about an actor who the entire country knows and who we recently lost. We are talking about Satish Shah, the 74-year-old actor we lost to cardiac arrest on 25th of October. And to speak about him and the memories of him and to bring in all the poignant moments that this person shared with his close friends is Ratna Pathak Shah, a veteran actor who has shared screen space with him, who has been his friend for a very long time, and who knew this person in and out. Ratna Pathak Shah, we really appreciate your precious time for the Hindu. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you. I'm happy you called me. I'm always happy to speak about Satish. He was a very special person. Yes.
Yes, and that is exactly what I want to start with, because on 25th when we lost him, we saw that during his condolence meet as well, all the friends came together to show how special he was, and in fact that condolence meet turned into a celebration of his life. Can you please recall a few moments of that for us?
Well, that's exactly what Satish deserved. He didn't deserve weeping and moaning and crying about how things were and how they should have been and all that. Not at all. And he certainly didn't need any um, weepy bhajans sung for him. So, what the Sarabhai gang decided, and I approved of wholeheartedly, was that we should celebrate Satish. His was a life that was lived to the fullest. He took everything that life threw at him with a great deal of courage and a great deal of humor. That was special about Satish. He did not only he was not only a funny man when he was on screen. He was genuinely a man who could look at the world with a sense of humor and see the stupidities in himself as well as others and laugh about them. And what I found special about him was that he could laugh about a crude, really, scatological joke as happily as he would about something really, sophisticated and witty. All kinds of humor appealed to him, and he thrived on it. And that's what came across in his work, almost to the exclusion of all other aspects of him, which is a pity, I think, but that's how it was.
Well, yes, I think, that was the kind of last conversation you two had with your friend, because in that heartfelt tribute that you have written for him, we also read about, how in his last message to you, it was actually a joke and he was talking about something that made you.
Absolutely. And a perfect joke. Absolutely perfect joke. People mistake me for an adult because of my age. That's true. He was not an adult, not in his head, not in his heart. He was genuinely a fun loving, mischievous child. And that's how he managed to live his whole life.
While talking of these things, you also touched upon the fact that the comic part of it, the fact that he was a fun loving person and he portrayed such roles as well, kind of overshadowed the other aspects of his life as well as his work as well. If you could throw some more light on it, because, there have been some extremely poignant moments in the last few days. We have seen the images of his wife, who has also been trying to cope up with this, her conversations with you. The fact that, someone who was full of life wanted to live his life ahead, got a medical procedure done so that he could make sure that he could be around for a longer time. Talk to us about a friend of yours, a person beyond the comic roles that he played.
Yes, there was a lot of Satish there. And, uh, and like all of us, he was a bundle of contradictions. Some beautiful aspects to him, some not so beautiful, some downright ugly. But that's true for all of us. And I felt Satish maybe didn't let his other side come out, even to himself. I think he was unable to acknowledge, even to himself, that there was more to life than looking at it with humor. And, you know, and dealing with whatever comes your way with a smile on your face. Sometimes it's necessary to stop and cry. And I don't know if Satish did it even to himself. Maybe he did to Madhu because she was with him every step of the way. I have not seen a partnership like that. Satish and Madhu. I mean, they were two peas in a pod. I don't know of too many people who are so similar, who work well together. Usually, opposites work well together in a marriage. But Satish and Madhu were just peas in a pod and they worked perfectly well with each other all through. She was with him and able to support him and laugh with him and sing with him every step of the way. So maybe Satish didn't give himself the chance to go deeper within himself. I felt that very strongly. And I tried to say that once or twice, but I don't think he was keen on going in that route, down that road. In fact, I think maybe the only time I've seen Satish, shaken, shattered, was when Madhu fell ill once, long, long ago, and she needed blood transfusions, and all of us had to rush to the hospital because of that. And that was the only time we saw Satish in a way that was not the Satish that he presented outside to the world. But he did keep up the act fully otherwise. And maybe it wasn't an act, maybe that's the way he looked at life. And that's what gave him the strength to carry on, in spite of all the disappointments. He was a very good actor. I don't see why he should have been slotted into this comic world. It was a pity that none of the directors of that time had the eyes to see what this man was capable of. They were as blind as the commercial guys that they dissed all the time and they criticized all the time. But they also created their own little star system and just wore blinders and went only for that. They couldn't see the talent that was around them. And there was a lot. Satish is only one example of it. And anytime he got a chance, like Jane Bhi Do Yaro, or any of the other films, wherever he got a chance, he shone. And you could see that he's capable of more. How come these directors couldn't? I've always found that absolutely astounding. And they were the ones who wanted to change the world, and they just created a pattern of the same world for themselves. My goodness.
Jane Bhi Do Yaro was iconic, and after so many decades, it still continues to be that shining film, which the kind of satire that barely we have seen thereafter. So when you say that it's a loss for not just the filmmakers but also for us as viewers, the fact that we did not see anything beyond only one dimension of an actor.
Anything else about Satish? Yes, yes, only one dimension. How strange is that? And he let that happen. I mean, I wish he had the you know the smarts to work the system, but maybe he didn't. So anyway, uh, but wherever he got the chance, whether it was Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, whether it was Philip's Top 10, whatever Satish did, he did well. He did with as much dum and as much interest as he did any other role. That's what I found really special about Satish, that he could give to every single project that he took on the same kind of attention and focus that he was required. He gave that to Filmi Chakkar, where I worked with him, and for Sarabhai, of course. Sarabhai, finally, Satish found a role where he didn't have to work too hard. This is Satish. Indravardhan Sarabhai is Satish.
So is that Maya Sarabhai speaking with us?
Yes, yes. Bilkul Maya Sarabhai. Indravardhan is Satish Shah. I mean, Satish Shah is Indravardhan. He didn't have to work very hard there. And I am Maya Sarabhai to some extent. Not all the way, I'm sorry to say. I wish I had her wit and her smarts. But Satish did. He had the smarts, he had the wit, and he had the ability to set up a scene. That is special. Most actors think about themselves and how they can be seen to their best advantage. Not Satish. Sats went for the scene, how to make this scene work, how to make everyone in this scene work. That was fantastic. And I saw that again and again.
That's an important thing you say. If I may interrupt you, I'm so sorry, but you're talking of a man who was not just thinking of himself, but also of people around. Apart from the fact that he was a brilliant person with unmatched comic genius, if you could talk to us with respect to Sarabhai versus Sarabhai as well, because your chemistry became a matter of legend for sitcoms in India. I mean, Sarabhai versus Sarabhai reels still go viral. People still talk about Maya and Indravadan.
And I have to interrupt you there. I know that. And I have to say, I'm terribly sorry about that. Sarabhai versus Sarabhai was 2005. We are in 2025. Hello? Nothing else? Nobody else can come up with something like Sarabhai? Come on. 1.4 billion we keep talking about. Why is there no other Sarabhai? And that's because there's no writing of that sort. That's the trouble. Nobody is willing to put in the kind of effort into the writing of comedy. Comedy is a tough, tough job. And I discovered that when we were doing Filmi Chakkar. We were stuck with a very inept, very bad tempered director and poor scripts. Satish was the one who made that series rock. He was the one who fixed scenes. He was the one who got other actors to deliver what was required. He got me to do what was required. I was a novice at that time. And I used to often attack a scene from the wrong side. Satish was the one who pointed me in the right direction. And for that, I'll always be grateful. And what I like best about him is he did not insist that you copied him. He just started you off, he pointed out what was wrong and said, now sort it out yourself. He didn't want to impose himself on you. I loved that about Sats. And really, I feel very sorry that we didn't get a chance to do anything else together.
So, Ratnaji, Filmi Chakkar, Sarabhai versus Sarabhai, but Filmi Chakkar was also around the time, if I'm not wrong, please correct me, where he also played his part in Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, where I think he played almost 5 roles.
Yejo Hai Zindagi went a little a little earlier. Yejo Hai Zindagi was in sort of early part of uh,
In 80s, yes.
1980s, early 80s, 83, 83. And Filmi Chakkar was much later in the 90s. So there was that. Yes, yes. And that was fantastic. Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, that's when the world sat up and said, hey, who is this actor? Till then he had had nothing, poor chap, that made him stand out in the way Ye Jo Hai Zindagi. And he did 50 different characters in 67 episodes. Beat that if you.
But Ratnaji, please also talk to us about this person who was so talented but who didn't want to hog all the limelight by himself and who just as much cared for every other co-actor and for the scene, how to bring that scene alive, because you have very poignantly talked to us about how he made all of you. For example, the way he told you that you should approach this scene this way. The fact that he didn't wait for someone else to show that they were capable, for example, of handling Filmi Chakkar.
Because in those days, in those days, we didn't have anyone else who was capable enough. That's our problem. We struggled with such inefficiency, I can't tell you. And still, these things were produced. That is what I call the miracle of India. That with complete inefficiency, with almost complete lack of effort, intellectual effort, I mean, physical effort बहुत करते हैं सब लोग, intellectual effort करने को तैयार नहीं. With that situation, we managed to produce what we managed to produce. I find that extraordinary. But coming back to Satish, yes, this is a way in which he worked with all of us. He, in fact, helped create the character of Raza Khan, the character in Filmi Chakkar. Raza Khan was acting as one of the characters. I think something Kangi or Pappu Kangi or something was this completely ridiculous, crazy act, and he was very, very awkward and self-conscious. And Satish just made him feel so comfortable, gave him so much confidence. That man just took off after that. And then he was included in several other episodes because he had become such a popular character. And that was Satish doing it. You know, that is that's what comedy does to you. It makes you work collaboratively. That's what I love about comedy. You work collaboratively. You cannot be the only star.
And that is
You
that is
cannot
the
be the
collaboration,
newcomer.
that is the chemistry that came out so well in Sarabhai versus Sarabhai that India still raves
Absolutely.
about.
Sarabhai, magical collaboration between all kinds of energies. JD Majithia as a producer, willing to put in as much effort, money, thought, and bringing together the right bunch of people to create Sarabhai. Deven, as a director, an actor himself, knew how to make others work the way he thought was right. And he really was bang on most of the time. Atish and his scripts and the kind of the springboard he gave to all of us to take off. Absolutely stupendous that was. I've never come across scripts like that, I have to say, which just made you could just take the script and go on stage. You didn't have to rework it, you didn't have to adjust, you just rehearsed and went on. It was like that. And of course, then the actors, each one of us brought special talents and special confidence. That's the important thing. Lot of times when you're working with
And you all got together to create that synergy which went beyond 1 plus 1 2. It got into multiplication and I don't know
absolutely,
what all.
and that's what tends to happen when actors don't let egos get in the way, we can produce magic. And when actors trust each other, and we did, all five of us, and of course Atish and David, because they were very much part of the cast along with us. But we really trusted each other. We could say anything to each other. We could do anything with each other. We could fool around. We could joke. We could be serious. We could cry. It was truly a family. And I never realized how much of a family we were until the day he left us. Really. I mean, one has seen many friends go. He's not the first. But something happened to all of us. And something was shaken and changed inside. Because this shouldn't have happened to him. He had a lot to live for. And he had a lot of determination. But that's what life does to you. It happens while you're busy making other plans, as John Lennon very wisely said. So, yeah, it happened. And yes, Satish has gone on to a better place, maybe, but he will be sorely missed here. And mainly, of course, by his family and friends, his wife.
And that is how, yeah, and that is how friends like you chose to celebrate him. Some of the lasting memories that India will see of a man we lost will be of the Sarabhai family coming together, singing, celebrating his life. What a way to pay tribute to a
When
man who
we
made
did
everyone
that
laugh.
Popat Kaka's memorial meeting wala episode, that was maybe episode 3, 4, 5, something very one of the early episodes. And when Atish read out the episode to us, it was so funny and so perfect. Everyone started ideating and everyone started, saying, I'll do this, I'll do this. It became like a full celebration of all the people and Satish led the pack the way he sang that day. He and Sumit, both of them wonderful singers, and they just took off. I tell you, the shooting of that episode was, I don't know how how long we took over it, how much effort we put in. It was just fun, one big roll of fun, and it's not quite fun now to see Satish go, but I guess his memorial meeting this time also was a bit of fun, and we made Madhu smile. That was the best part.
Your This is the last question that I want to bring to you. Your wishes for Madhu Shah as she is trying to cope up with this loss.
Oh, well, my best wishes to her, of course. I know she's strong. I know she is extremely creative inside of her. She loves music, she loves dance, and she will find her way to Satish through music and dance. I feel that. Every every time we meet, after that we've met a couple of times, and whenever we've talked, it's been through song. You remember Satish sang that? You remember that happened when this song was played? And so on. So hopefully, and she has many beautiful memories with Satish. So hopefully that will give her solace and she will come through this. She has a bunch of wonderful people. Their help and their now son, I think we should call him Ramesh, who has been a rock solid support for all of them. He's there for her.
Ratna Pathak Shah, I really thank you so much uh, for speaking about such wonderful times that you've spent with a friend who India has seen. As a person with impeccable comic sense, you brought out the person behind that comic sense. And thank you so much for all the memories that.
I would like to add that it's only
Yes.
part of that person. Huh? There's very much more to Satish. All kinds of strange things around him. Let's not go there. But yeah, this is the
Thank
best
you.
part of
Thank you so
Satish.
much for
Yes.
joining the show, Ratna Pathak Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here. And let's remember Satish with a
Absolutely. That
smile
is what
always.
you all have ensured. Thank you.